What's going on? So Chris, we're going to be going through this process. I'm going to be asking you some questions about, nutritional preferences, your current goals, what you're trying to get at. I know we did talk before. We went through this process before, but it would be a lot easier if we go about this process in this way. So we can get a little bit clearer on what you want to accomplish with, your fitness goals and stuff. So.
Of course. Sure. No problem.
All right. So first things first, I know we talked about current weight not too long ago, but what's your current height at?
So I am currently 5'11", but I always lie and say I'm 6 foot.
You're right. You're right there. Just about there.
Yeah. Right. Just short.
and what? How old are you?
31. I'll be 32 in March.
Cool. All right. And then we did talk about you just want to essentially we want to focus on looking better, feeling better, and then losing body fat essentially.
Yeah. So overall, I'd like to, I think, ideally be down between like 180 and 220. The actual like number on the scale doesn't matter as much to me as much as like actual physical health. I mean, if I'm 220, but I'm like a solid 220,
Yeah.
then I'm okay with that. Like I'm not going to be upset, but by that. But overall, like I just kind of feel slow and I feel sluggish all the time. I know we talked about before, I take a bunch of pills. One of them is like an antidepressant that I'm on. So I take those daily. And I just feel like, back in my prime, I was, I don't know, more of a beast. And then now I'm not. And I definitely feel it. So I want to look good. I want to feel good, and I kind of just want to be the person that mentally I know I am.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I know that's there too. I know it's there. It's guaranteed. Like going about this process, starting with the scale thing, like I typically, I don't really prioritize the scale as much. I use it as kind of like a thing. If you're like an analytical person and you can kind of look at averages, I typically, if I'm going through this process of like, let's say, for example, if I go through like a fat loss process, at the beginning, you're going to lose a lot of weight because it's going to be water weight, it's going to be body fat and all that stuff. But then there's going to be a time where it's like an exponential process where you won't see progress for a couple like days, probably even weeks, and then you see like a big jump in weight loss.
Right. So it'll be like stagnant, like your body's just trying to hold on, and then it dives.
Yeah, then it just randomly dives. Like I've been in a situation where I've lost, like I would be stuck at a certain body weight for like 3 weeks, and then the next day I just lose 5 pounds, and I'm like, what just happened? Your body's a weird thing. It just fluctuates like that. Usually with scales, I would step on the scale daily. I know my weight is going up and down, fluctuating from time to time, depending on stress, sleep, all that stuff. But I take the average of the 7 days and I assess from there. I'll go about this process with you, but if I don't make, for example, my goal, losing a pound a week, for example, I mean, everyone's going to have goals on this, but losing a pound a week, if I don't reach that in that week, I give it another shot at the same week. I don't really adjust anything and I see how that goes. And then sometimes that adjustment, like it just happens as a result.
Okay.
Ultimately, what we're trying to get at, or what I'm trying to get at, is just be patient with the process, but you will see results. What's really important is I like the fact that, we're focusing on mental health. I think if you put that as priority number one, the body's going to follow as a result. That's what happened to me on my journey. Like when I first started, at first you might not see significant changes. You may feel good after that, like during that workout, but then afterwards, you know how it is. But over time, you'll see the changes overall in your overall mood, and that's where it's like okay, and that momentum comes through, and then things start to happen from there.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot with me. I don't know if it's the same with a lot of people, but like I can usually mood-wise or mental health-wise, I'm usually pretty good most of the time during the day. And then it's like right around that evening time, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, end of the day stress. And that's when I don't know, more of the depression stuff kind of hits hard is more evening time.
I've experienced that myself. I know like one of the biggest challenges I have personally, I still have to this day, is emotional eating. If I'm like super stressed out, if I'm super stressed out and I see the food in my kitchen cabinet with my culture, family members and stuff, they'll bring the sweets. Can't resist the sweets. So I try my best to just not have them in the house, or I'll be like, if you guys want to eat them, but I like to steer clear from the kitchen if that's the case. But it's tough. It is a challenging thing, because that's one of the things where even like if you look at it from like a neurological perspective, that's where that kind of stuff gets the best of everybody. And ultimately, the best thing to do in that process is just make it so it's less frequent. And it's like like we go from like days of you not doing that, and then accidentally, it happens, to weeks. And it's it's an interesting process, because it's certain things that, like, for some people it will be some random thing that just shifts, that they stop doing that, and then for others it's like a constant thing. But it's one of those things where it's like, you understand that with more consistency, like if you follow like 80-20, let's just say 80-20, 80% of the time you're good, 20% of the time you mess up. It's like, if you have that consistently, you're going to see the results. So we
Okay.
just got to get to that point where it's like we can figure that out, and once you figure that out, it just clicks.
See, I know in the past, one of the ways that I've been more successful with like dieting or losing weight, I think, has been I don't do cheat days. I do like a cheat meal. So like twice a week I'll have like a cheat meal or something.
Okay.
Instead of just trying to like stuff myself
Yeah.
all in one day. And then I've noticed that a lot of times, like throughout the week, like I like soda, and I drink it a lot. It's something I want to cut out of my life eventually. But I noticed that if I just do like half a can of Coke or Mountain Dew or something during like lunch and dinner, then that's usually enough to like satisfy that craving. And
Okay.
like, okay, well, that's all I needed. I kind of just wanted a little bit of something with this meal, and then we're good.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Do you have any issues with like any type of diet soda or anything like that?
No, not really.
Okay.
No issues.
Well, we can go about this process where we slowly make adjustments. I don't think it's like, I don't like to cut things cold turkey, because that never always works.
Yeah.
Never always, yeah, something like that. It's like never always. But anyway, it's one of those things where I like to make slow adjustments over time, and with my clients too. A lot of the results comes from that. If you look at if you look at some of the behavioral psychology, like habit science, it's like sometimes like an epiphany happens where somebody is like, has a life-threatening thing, and then they're like, oh, I need to cut this out completely. But
Yeah.
not everyone experiences that. Sometimes it's just the small changes over time. Like let's say you're not motivated to get into the gym, you have struggle getting into the gym. You kind of can like segment your day out, where it's like, if I keep my gym clothes on my bed, this triggers me to get to the gym. And then my next step is like, I need to get to the car. As soon as I get to the car, it's easy. It's smooth sailing. I just go straight there and I put in the work. And it's kind of like,
Yeah.
you figure out that process. It's very individual, but once you figure out that process, everything just kind of, you get in the habit of doing it, and then you see the results from it.
It's funny you say that, and I don't know why it does, but like when I put on lifting gloves, even if I'm doing like legs or something, but I put on like lifting gloves, for whatever reason, that just super pumps me up to go to work out at the gym. And I'm not sure why. It's always been like that for me.
It has something to do with that kind of like cognitive type of thing. I know there's some research behind like something called enclothed cognition. And I don't think they've done it exactly on like workout stuff, but it's really interesting. Like you put them on, and it's like, you put your gloves on, it's go time. Like, I'm the gym guy, I'm ready to go in
Yeah.
there. Like, if you kind of get into that mindset where you can somehow do that, where it's like, when I put on my gym clothes, I'm like, I put on fancy gym clothes, the athletic wear. That's like gym time. Like, I'm going to be looking good, and I'm also going to be putting in work. Like for me myself, like to get in there, because there's some days where I'm not 100%, but if I have new gym clothes, I'm like, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go in with those gym clothes. So it's stuff like that really does work, and it's kind of weird to explain. I can't really explain it, but it just does work.
Okay. No, I totally get that and believe that. I know like one of my goals that I want to eventually get to is I want to be able to do pull-ups. Like without cheating, without doing the whole like, you're swinging your legs and stuff, to get up there, just a straight up, like pull up or chin up, like I used to be able to do them. And, after my shoulder surgeries, I just haven't been able to do them anymore. So I want to eventually get back to that point. And I feel like I also want to be able to, like you're saying, like look good in my clothes. So like right now, I'm wearing a hoodie because I'm in a super cool AC'd room. But I live in Hawaii, so most of the time it's t-shirt and shorts. Well, for some reason, even though like the Hawaiian population, or a lot of people in Hawaii is really big, they don't sell really big clothes. So like I have like 7 shirts that I cycle through that are basically these Walmart, bought stained sleeveless shirts, that I'll wear underneath like dress shirts or Hawaiian shirts, but when I'm out and about, it's just like these sleeveless shirts, and I'm tired of wearing them. I want to wear like real people clothes again, because I can't seem to find 4 to 5X shirts that that I like.
Cool. With the pull-up stuff, like, I don't mean to brag about pull-ups, but I'm kind of like good at them. I know how to help people do pull-ups. So
I saw
we'll go about that. When we reach that goal, when we start getting there and you start, you start feeling better, and then going about the pull-up process, especially, when you're telling me about the shoulders, we just got to be super careful with that when we get to that point.
Yeah.
But that's a great goal. Pull-ups are very, they're one of my favorite exercises personally. We'll definitely get there. It's going to be a good process going through it.
Okay.
And then I did want to ask you, because you did tell me, these certain things that have worked with you on your journey and stuff. But what things have not worked for you?
So I've done a lot of different, I don't know, diets or crash diets. I mean, I paid a lot of money on them before. So there's this one, I can't think of the name, starts with an A, I think. But basically, you pay them money, and then they ship you like bars and cookies and like pre-made meals and stuff. But it ends up only being maybe 500 to 700 calories a day, and the idea behind it is you're going to be super super hungry for a week, and then after that, like, your body just gets used to it. You're not supposed to work out. You're not even supposed to like walk anywhere. I did that for a little while. I lost like 20 pounds on it, but I just couldn't do it anymore, and I ended up breaking. I've done it to where I've gone to a doctor's office and they give me like shots to take home. Same thing, a 500-ish calorie a day diet, and you inject yourself in the stomach with these shots. I've tried those. That again, same thing, same about a month or so, and then it just broke. I couldn't do it anymore. Then there was I've tried keto. I didn't really try keto. I kind of just dabbled in keto a little bit. I've tried the whole, like, hey, let's eat nothing but broccoli, rice, and chicken, for lunch and dinner, and then it was just consistently the same meal over and over and over and over again. That would break me. I've gone to personal trainers, and they were like, hey, we're going to put you on this super super strict diet. Like, you have to be absolutely 100% healthy all the time. You can't have a little bit of sugar. It's got to be Truvia. You can't have tea that has this in it and that in it, and that just became too complicated for me, I think. So those didn't work. I've tried just winging it, because in my mind I'm like, I've been in the military, I've been in shape before. I know what to do. It's easy to say, hey, this cookie's bad, this cheeseburger's bad, and this salad's good. You know what I mean? So just do more of that. And then without some sort of like clear guidance, or at least a game plan laid out, I'd end up failing on those. One of the biggest things I've always noticed, at least about me, is there are times, especially in the first like week or so, where I'm just ravenously hungry. Right, I've been working out. My body's used to taking in 4,000, whatever calories. Maybe, I don't know, I'm throwing on them, but a lot of calories. And I'm now all of a sudden down to like a 1,500, 2,000 calorie diet. And so after like a week, I'm just like ravenously, like, claw your eyes out hungry. And if I have a meal in front of me and I can convince myself to say, hey, eat this meal, and then we can go to Buffalo Wild Wings, or then we can order Domino's or whatever. And then once I kind of just get something in me, then I'm able to more be like, okay, I'm still pretty hungry, but I'm not like, let's go order Buffalo Wild Wings hungry anymore. You know what I mean?
That's good. Thank you for being honest with me about that process, because like when I train people, it takes some time for people to like open up with that. I did want to explain to you about about the process with the dieting and such. My mindset towards like dieting is like, eat as much as you can while still losing weight type of thing. When I hear 500 calories, it scares me. I'm just like, man, like I've trained somebody before where they had like 100 pounds to lose, and I told them to, at their body weight, I told them to eat about 3,000 calories, somewhere around there. But usually with the foods, it would add up to that. They were losing a lot of weight, but then they thought that restricting more is better. And it isn't. For a time, you can stay at that same calorie point if it helps you lose weight. Like, let's say, for example, you're eating 3,200 calories and you're losing weight as a result. We will keep going about that process until it starts to stall at a point where it's like, and it's probably going to take a little bit of time for it to stall, but it takes a while. But a lot of people look at this like it's more is better mentality, especially with the nutrition. It drives me crazy. Like if you told me I had to eat 1,800 calories, I'm like, who? Never. You're never going to see me eat that much. I'm eating like I've lost weight through like 2,300 to 2,500. It's possible. Like once we dial that in, you're going to start to see it. You're going to be like, all right, this diet does not make me feel miserable. I feel pretty good about this process. And then on top of that, I'm not going to tell you, oh, you eat this food. Like I'm going to give you suggestions of what foods, you probably know, obviously, with the nutrition and stuff. A lot of people do, but I'm like, here's the foods that you can eat, but we're not going to completely eliminate your current lifestyle. We're just going to make adjustments as we go. So like with the whole soda thing, it's like we can probably cut, the amount of soda you're drinking, or we can go into like diet, and then you will see results from that. Like just those small adjustments. What's really important is the mental aspect. Like I need to make sure you're sleeping well, you're not as stressed, you feel good, you don't feel like you don't feel down or anything like that. Those all play a big part in overall health and overall exercise. And that's important. That's super important to me. I think and a lot of people look at the numerical caloric amount and stuff. Well, we'll get into that a little bit later, but a lot of people focus on that. But it's like, if you're not sleeping good, if you're not feeling good, you're stressed out all the time, you're lashing out at your friends and family members because you're starving. That's not a good
sign. Yeah, I appreciate it. That all sounds good, because I know right now I don't have a healthy relationship with food. Like my diet right now consists of, I'll drink maybe 3 or 4 cans of soda a day, kind of thing. I do drink a lot of water. I'll take Crystal Light and I'll put it into like a gallon of water, and I'll shake it up, and then I drink that, because I have a hard time just drinking plain water unless I'm working out or on a hike or something. But otherwise, like I'll eat pizza, like the Tombstone, whatever pizza, or Domino's pizza or something. I'll eat that maybe 4 times a week. I eat like stuffed noodles and pretty much anything super unhealthy. I eat it because I am an emotional eater. I have PTSD from the military and from the war and everything, and that's one of the ways I cope is emotional eating, and I want to get past that. But also, I wanted to bring it up to you too. I know one of the reasons why I also know I have an unhealthy relationship with food is like while I was in the military, like during like my prime, whenever I couldn't run like super fast, but I could run far, and I could lift a lot of weights and I could do all this stuff because, we were going to combat and war and everything. When I was still stateside preparing to go to my next deployment, whatnot, I would have leaders who, I want to say like kind of fat shame you, like I wasn't fat at the time, but like I didn't have abs either, I maybe had like a little bit of belly, but like they would just like fat shame you into that. So they would make me run the base perimeter like a couple times a week, which was like 9.5, 10 miles. So I'd have to run that. They would make me eat a whole bunch of food and then kind of throw it up as like bulimia. So I'd have to go to the bathroom and like take a toothbrush, put it back, throw it up the food, because they were like, you eat a whole bunch of calories, then you throw it back up, and then you lose weight basically. And that was the whole thing with them as well, was you need to starve yourself. You can't eat all this calories, all these food, because if you eat less, you consume less, your body burns it, blah blah. I understand it's flawed science, I get that, but that's just a little bit of a history with me and my food, I guess.
Yeah, well, going through that, I can already tell, like when you're telling me the exercise, especially with the military stuff, that's extreme. Like you're going to be going through those, extreme bouts. And then on top of that, with, the food restriction and stuff, that is so hard on not only like your mind, but your body as well. If you're on a diet, your body's going to be, there's going to be more stress to your body because you're restricting food.
Right.
And going that extreme will have a large impact on your body. Like even the research has even shown, like with those large stressors, I'm not going to like assume that that's the primary, like primary cause of like, depressive symptoms and stuff, but like big bouts of stress can play a part in depression. Yeah, that's wow.
No worries. I'm throwing a lot at you because I want you to have as much information as
Yeah,
possible.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
That's very, very helpful.
I'm dedicated to this, and I want to make this work.
Definitely. And one thing I will explain to you too, what's really important to me is just the thing, you see all these you see all these diets, you see the ketogenic diet, you see like, gluten-free, you see all these things that pop up, and it's like, they do work for people, but it doesn't work for everybody.
Right.
Nutrition, especially, based on, your own personal experiences, your own culture, where you grow up, your environment and all that stuff plays a big part on nutrition. And you have to find what works best for you. Now, what we can do is set that foundation. Over time, we're able to adjust and figure out, like, you're gonna find some things that work great, right? And then you're gonna also find things that work even better. And it's all, you get that momentum, and then over time you're like, dude, I got this. I can do this on the regular. Like, it's just a thing that just like instinctively pops up. I'll know from personal experience of doing it. I've tried so many diets. I've tried all these crazy things. I've calorie counted and all that stuff. And with the calorie counting, like I've went on crazy, like absolutely insane diets. Like, for example, I've been on, if you know In-N-Out, we have an In-N-Out here in California. Like, I went on an In-N-Out diet in college, and that's all I ate, and I lost weight. But the only thing about that was it was so stressful on my body that I gained my weight back because I restricted so much, and I wasn't getting enough nutrients in my body. I wasn't getting my fruits and vegetables. I was getting a piece of lettuce, and that wasn't sustainable for me. But what I found is I don't restrict foods like fats, carbs, or protein. What I do is I do less of it. So I found that if I eat less carbohydrates and keep my fat intake high and keep my protein intake high, I can lose weight. And you can find what works best for you. You just what's important is I can keep track of it, but I also think it's important for you to keep track of it too, just to be like, how does my body respond to certain foods I eat? If I eat this many fats, or if I eat this amount of fats, or I eat this certain amount of fat, like olive oil, I put olive oil in my food and such. How does it make me feel? Does it make me feel good? Does it give me energy? Do I feel satiated or full, over time? It's just that process. Like it's a lot of stuff to kind of think about, but like we talk about Stan, where Stan's like, one step at a time.
Yeah.
That's how I think we should do it. Cause I can talk about this stuff all day, but it's important for us to implement it overall.
Okay.
So I did want to ask if you're, if you're considering, implementing the more active lifestyle, eating, better nutrition and stuff. We did talk about previously in a call that you typically would go, like, do you typically prefer to go to the gym at least like 2 or 3 times a week, or?
Yeah. So overall, I love nature. Nature is how I get my, I just get like recharged from it. So I love hiking. I love biking, just like being in the woods, living in Hawaii. It's so beautiful here. So that's like my preferred method of like trying to get out and be active is hiking. But I also, love working out. Like, I do love lifting weights. I know something about being in the gym and then, just struggling to get that one last rep in, like I love it. And I mean, I'll complain the whole time I'm in there, but like I secretly love the whole process. So I do like doing that as well. And I have like I said, a Nordic track here, which is, a virtual bike basically that elevates and declines. So I enjoy hopping on that and doing my thing. And then I think one of the biggest things that I don't do and I should is stretching. So like post workout, I'll do just kind of like a little bit of a, got my stretching. All right, we're good to go kind of thing. But I don't take actual time to do it. And that's why, 2 days later, I'm just like, I can't move. Oh my God, but yeah, so I mean, with it being in Hawaii and pretty much, 70 to 80 degrees year round, I want to get more outdoors. I want to get more active outside. If that also involves lifting weights at the gym, I'm okay with that. Like I wouldn't be completely against it, but I have a gym here that I'm a member to. I have the ocean I can swim in. I have an actual bike, an indoor bike. Oh, and before I forgot, sorry, I know this a little late, but one of the things that always failed with me as well is liquid diets. So when you were like, hey, let's blend together an apple and all your veggies and stuff, and then just drink it. I can do that every now and then, but I can't make that, my main meals.
If that's the case, we're not going to do
Yeah.
it. We'll find ways around it. It's not an issue. I did want to ask though, like, because I'm all for, hiking, biking, walking, swimming, all that stuff. I'm all for that. But if you were to go to the gym, what would be like the max amount of days that you would train in the gym?
So if I was to
Like
do
per
like
week.
gym only, I could do like 4 days, maybe five. I know realistically after like day two, I just feel so drained and dead. I mean
Hmm.
that's me currently, not on any kind of healthy
Yeah.
living, but I just feel so drained and dead. I don't have any energy. But I end up taking 2 or 3 days off just to recover. And those days are usually days where it's not, I'm not recovering because I'm like, oh, I just don't feel like it today. It's days where I feel like just sleeping all day,
Uh,
and those are the days where I end up kind of just backing it off, and then I'll end up going again for a couple of days, and then it's rinse and repeat. So I understand once I get going, that'll slowly taper off, you
mhm.
know, but I would like to do, like ideally exercising at least 5 days a week.
Okay, cool. Um, would you be all right with like starting off like maybe like three and then going and like adding to it like 3 days a week in just general and then
Sure.
adding to it over time?
Guys, so if you're liking this call so far, I created an ebook series for you guys that are focusing on fitness for mental health. It's 3 hacks that boost mood and overall well being. You can get in the description below or right up here. And then with that, let's continue on.
Yeah.
I just want to see how you feel, in regards to energy levels and all that stuff.
Hmm.
I think it's important to slowly get into it. Usually I would recommend, workout sessions of like about 45 to 60 minutes if that's okay, and then we
Yeah.
can add to that. I really like the nature aspect because what you're telling me is like, do you typically afterwards, do you typically feel like a lot more energized after your cardiovascular type of sessions? Or
Yeah. Yeah. So like if I'm just running or walking or riding my bike or something like my indoor bike, then I don't really feel that energized. But like if I'm hiking in the woods and there's a couple hikes here that I like and that they're kind of hard because they're like steep uphill and they're muddy, so you're struggling to get your footing. And but during that whole process, I just feel a lot less stressed because I'm going through all these imaginary arguments and stuff in my head about all the things that stress me out. And then it's like by the end of the hike, it's like 3 4 hours have passed, and I just feel like, oh, I got all that out of my system. I feel just refreshed. I love being in nature. A lot of times I'll just listen to a podcast while I do that, and that'll
mm,
give me ideas for my work or personal stuff in my own life. And I get back to my car and I'm just wiped out. It's been like 4 hours
yeah,
of
yeah.
hiking. I'm wiped out, but I feel so good, right?
Mhm.
I'm in a good mood the rest of the day, you know?
I like that. I like the sound of that because, like, as with vitamin D and stuff, being outdoors, that's going to help a lot
Mhm.
with mood. Um, Going about this process, I probably would recommend more outdoor stuff.
Okay.
Start with, and then we can, if you like, we can add, the gym later on, probably like 1 or 2 days a week. You don't have to go like we'll assess based on your personal preferences and how you feel and energy levels, where we want to go with that. But I think the outdoor thing would help a lot. Like
Okay.
not you hiking every single day because like that's 2 to 4 hours. That's exhausting.
Yeah.
But like if you're feeling it, I with hiking, I'm not too well versed in hiking, but I'm sure that the next day or so is probably complete soreness
Oh yeah.
afterwards.
From the next like 2 3 days, I'm wiped out.
Yeah, so that would probably be one of those things that I would recommend like at the end of the week if you feel like that, or even
Yeah.
at the beginning, depending on how you feel. But it's one
Just
of
like
those
on
things at the
Friday
end
or
of the
Saturday kind of thing.
yeah, at the end of the week you feel like, especially on a Saturday, like a weekend, like if you have, a lot less stress on the weekend, you crush it and you just feel good. You like after that
Mhm.
session, I can imagine like, finishing that hike and just feeling like on top of the world. You're like, all right, I'm good. Like I feel good. I'm
Yeah.
gonna relax, enjoy the rest of my Saturday, I'm all for that. That's actually sounds like a lot of fun to me, in my opinion.
Well, one of the great things about what I do is because I'm working on my own business,
Mhm.
I get to pretty much make my own schedule. So I can work when I want to. So if I want to work on a Saturday or take a Friday off, I could do that. So I can be very flexible with this schedule.
Cool. And then we did talk about some of the stuff that's like, like some of the setbacks and some of the things like that. But what additional things have like kind of blocked you from making changes in your lifestyle, for example?
Um, I think part of it is other people. I understand like the whole saying like no one's gonna back you until you've already accomplished it, and then they're like, we believed in you the whole time. You know what I mean? But it's just like not that when you're working out or you're eating healthy, people are negative on you. It's just a lot of it like you know people making comments like you're overweight or like you need to lose weight or something like that. It just kind of like demotivates you in general, because they don't necessarily see everything that you're doing. They don't see all the hard work I'm putting in and everything I'm doing. They're just like, oh, you need to lose weight. I'm like, well, yeah, no crap, you need to lose weight. I'm not healthy.
You
But
know, I can tell you from my personal experiences too, like when I was going through my my phase of like depression, like significant phase of depression, throughout like middle school and high school. I used to get, I mean, in middle school, high school, everyone's like, all the dudes are just gonna pick on somebody, and then for me, I was like the pushover, so that I was like the bot. Like they would pick on me so much that I would just sit there and just take all the jokes and all the teasing and all that stuff.
yeah,
I heard all the negative stuff, and I had people tell me, oh, you're going to be fat forever, you're going to do
mhm,
this, you're going to be that. I even had family members tease me and make fun of me, and it's like, nah, that's not cool.
yeah,
It's rough, especially coming from family.
mhm,
And one of the things that like it it came with time, where like the momentum came through, and then I started building confidence for myself. But the most important thing to me is, you find that person like with accountability. Like I'll
mhm,
definitely hold you accountable throughout the process. I will be that guy that's like, if I ask you about the process, like if you're doing a certain thing, I'm gonna be like, do you want me to be nice, or do you want me to be real with you?
yeah,
And one of the things in that process is like, I had a trainer like that. It's like tough, tough, like
yeah,
dad love sort of thing. And that
yeah,
helped me go. That helped me keep going. And I really like that, challenger mentality, where it's like, can you go one more? Can you do this? Can you do that? I'm not going to push you to do it, but I can see that you can do it. It's
yeah,
that type of thing where, when we talk about in our business group, in the incubator group, where we talk about like the belief in the action. I actually made a piece of video on this, where it's like, I believe the action comes first before the belief. And when you believe it, massive action comes. And it's like, when you start to see it, you're like, and you start hearing the voices and stuff, or people telling you stuff, you're like, shut up, I got this. Like, I have no issue with this whatsoever. And then it's like,
yeah,
it got to a point where it was like, it got so ridiculous for me. Cause like, even when I lost weight, people would be like, I started like, all right, I'm going to be weightlifting now. And they're like, you're never going to be like, high school kids talk, you're never
yeah,
going to be buff or whatever. And then I gained some, a little bit of muscle mass. And then like over time, they're like, all the things that they were trying to put me down with, I got to a point where I was like, shut up. And I was just talking smack back to them. And then
yeah,
like after that, I was like, man, I found out like myself, like, who I identify as a person. Like I did not have that before, because I was listening to what other people said. And then over
mhm,
time, I built that momentum for myself. And it's like, what they say does not equate to what I'm doing right now. So I'm not
yeah,
going to listen to it. And that requires a lot of, practice and, repetition. And it applies to every, like, not just your own physical health, physical and mental health, but like life itself, your career path, you hear these type of things. With my culture, especially, that they're like, they see the college degree as like the pinnacle, right? It's like, you
yeah,
get that pinnacle, and it's like, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I got my degree, but I wanted to be an entrepreneur. That's just how I am as a person. And they're like, no, you have to have this, this real job and all this stuff, the real job. And it's like,
yeah,
this can be even better than the real job,
yeah.
so,
Dude,
so
you're preaching right now. I love it.
yeah, it's tough, but like, when you push through and then you get that action and then you start to believe in it, you're like, dude, I got this. Like,
Yeah,
and it you start getting like, it just comes, it comes in everything. It comes with time, but we'll definitely get there. Whereas like, The outside voices is like, shut up. But I appreciate you telling me that, because that's super important. I think that's one of the big factors of like people failing. And then especially with the social media culture, I see a lot of like, I see not just like the fat shaming, but I also see like the fit shaming too. And it's like, I've
Yeah.
been fat shamed and I've been fit shamed. So I'm like, wherever you go, you're gonna be shamed. And it's like, it
Right.
gets ridiculous. Like, dude, I just want to feel good. When you get more fit, you're like, you start to surround yourself with those kind of people, and they're the like, not all the fit people are going to be like uplifting, but most are. Like when you find that community of people that you surround yourself with, they're going to lift you up. For example, if you've ever seen my brother's videos, my brother's a power lifter, and like
Okay.
I'm not a power lifter, but I like strength training. But
Hmm.
watching them cheer him on is like the most, like, it's amazing. Like I'm just like, I'm getting chills right now just thinking about it, because it's like, that's what I want. That's what it should exist more often. And instead of like, social media culture putting people down, and then, outside voices putting people down. I know I'm rambling and going on a rant right now, but I'm just like so passionate about this, because I'm like, accountability and finding those right people to, even if they're like on a public forum or anything like that, you have those people that get you going. And we go about that process. Like I got to invite some of our guys in our incubator group to my Facebook group. I'm going to invite you to.
Okay.
I'm really trying to get that momentum going, where it's like I'm holding you guys accountable, and then we're holding each other accountable. Like I'm going to need accountability too. So
Yeah.
it's pretty awesome to have that. And I have some people that are engaged in it. It's going to be very nice to get that momentum going over time. So
Mhm. That'd be cool. I would love to have that.
cool. And then right now, how are your current like eating and nutritional habits on a scale of 1 to 10?
Like 10 the best, 1 the worst.
Yeah.
And we're talking like how healthy I am on eating habits.
Healthy.
Yeah. I would say like a 2 or a 3.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'll eat some healthy, but it's like I feel like 80% is bad.
Okay. Got it. Why do you think that is? Like,
I know part of it is every time I try and like buy groceries or something to eat healthy, I just find it's really expensive. And that's always been like a big turnoff for me, as well as there, especially with like money kind of being a little tight. But yeah, I mean, 1, 2, it tastes better. 3, it's like it's more of a comfort food, than anything else, and it's quick and easy. I can just throw a pizza, or I can throw something in the oven. 20 minutes later it's done, and I can enjoy it, instead of sitting here being like, okay, well, let me measure the chicken. All right, is that exactly a cup of rice? And then trying to do all that as well.
what grocery stores do you guys have over there?
Yeah, so we have Costco, we have like local chain grocery stores.
Okay.
But we also have the base, the military base, because I'm a retired military member. I get access to it, so I can get like a lot of stuff cheaper on there. Some stuff's more expensive, but it's hit or miss. So I have that I can shop at as well.
Do you like do you typically go to the base, or do you typically go at Costco, or?
Usually my 2 big places, like if I'm going to try and buy groceries, is like Costco or the military base.
Okay.
If I just need like a couple one-off things, like I'm like, let's go, I need some ketchup, or I need something, whatever, then I'll go to like the local store. Recently I've been going a lot more to the local store, just because of convenience. It's right here by my house. And that's been more expensive than if I just took the extra 20 minutes and went to the base.
Do you have like places like Trader Joe's over there in your general area, at least in your general area?
I don't think we have a Trader Joe's here.
Okay. I'm just curious, because like I usually, like when I would have to get a little bit more familiar with the stuff over there, because like I do a lot of prepackaged stuff from time to time if I'm on the go. But there's like, when you find a way, when you have like the healthier options and you figure that out, it gets fun. Because like
Yeah.
at Trader Joe's, they'll have these like like chicken tikka masalas, and like they're high in protein, lower calorie, and they're filling. They feel like they taste good and stuff. And I typically do those on the regular. If you're on the go and you want something that tastes really good, it's like stuff like that. But we could figure that out. I resonate a lot with the food tasting bland, especially like the clean eating stuff, or the clean eating stuff, I call it. That's one of those things where I'm not going to restrict any like if you want to add some flavor to it, I'm not going to restrict any, like, I'm not going to tell you to restrict spices or anything like that. That's absurd. That's ridiculous. Like I'm all for like food with barbecue sauce, you know, hot
Yeah.
sauce, whatever, you know, whatever you that works best for you. The only thing I would say is like, typically with the foods, just be cognizant of the caloric content. You know, for example, salad dressings and stuff, they typically have a higher than normal caloric intake. There's
Okay.
always an alternative that's like the fit version of it. And this is where this is what I mess with too. It's like fit whatever. And it's like, even though it's not technically like, it's just the branding that's on it. It's typically like lower calorie. Sometimes I eat a lot of bread, and like I like to make French toast and things like that.
Yeah.
And I find like the bread that's like high in protein and then lower in calorie, just so I can have a lot of it. I do that kind of stuff. I'm very flexible with that. One method I follow, and just in general, is called flexible dieting. You can look it up on the internet. Flexible dieting is exactly what it is. You diet flexibly. Like you can have, you know, if you go to get dessert, like it can be in your diet. Like you know, you have some cookies and stuff. It could be in your diet. But the thing is, you have to be, it has to be in moderation. You know, if you know that, you know, at home when you're stressed out, you have this like that's where the trigger comes in, where you're craving certain foods. I wouldn't keep those type of foods in the house, but I would, if I'm actually craving it, like throughout the day. Let's say I'm like, dude, I want some ice cream. I want some ice cream so bad. I would go out and grab ice cream. Like, but I would grab like a single serving ice cream just to like satiate me.
Like one of the Ben and Jerry things.
Yeah, one of the like a small one, for example. I just don't keep like big tubs, for example, because I know that once that tub is open, I'm eating the whole thing. So, but it's things like that. When like you figure out, like you'll have some days where it's like, oh, I deserve. Like sometimes I don't even call them cheat meals, but I call them free meals. I deserve something to go off my schedule, you know, thing that I wanted to plan. That's okay. That is definitely okay. Like that's how it should be. It should be mentally sane. Like it's not like if you just restrict everything, you're gonna lose your mind. Like I've been there where it's like all I eat is these certain foods because somebody told me to eat these certain foods, and it's like no.
Yeah.
I used to work at a grocery store. Best believe I was getting chocolate bars on those big diets because I was like, dude, I can't resist. Like the chocolate bars in my face, I have to grab one. I have to grab one. And then I used to think that it would ruin my diet, but it doesn't really if you're consistent most of the time and you figure out how to do it. It's like, dude, I can have this and I can still, you know, I don't ruminate over it the entire day. I just get back on track. I saw I don't know who posted it in one of the groups, but I used to think of it as, you know, if I have one bad day, there's always tomorrow. But I did see one thing recently is like, you should treat it like you have 4 quarters in a day. And if your second quarter is bad, you can finish strong with the last 2 quarters of the day. And
that makes sense.
I really like that mindset because it's like, shit, I messed up on this meal. I'm going to have another meal tonight because I have to, but I messed up on this meal. Should I starve myself or should I eat that meal and just get back on track? And I say, like, you know, if you want a lighter meal because you're filled up and you feel like crap, it's like nice little protein shake will do it. And just like protein shake, you can add to it. You can make it, you know, or you can add like a little small snack, a little dessert, you know, some frozen. Like what I typically do is I buy a bunch of frozen fruit, and then I take it out. I let it defrost for a couple minutes, and I enjoy frozen fruit or defrosted fruit, and that's okay too. Like and in my opinion too, I'll be honest with you, one of the hacks that I found is like frozen food is typically cheaper than the fresh straight up food. So it's like, you know, chopped spinach, you know, bell peppers, other blueberries, strawberries, chopped bananas, stuff like that. If you find those kind of frozen stuff, that's like the ultimate, like those are like that's like one of the ways that you can get cheaper low calorie, nutritious foods.
Okay.
And it's just one thing that I've learned from it, because I know that, you know, when I look at meat, for example, especially, you know, right now, meat is expensive right now. I'm like, dude, I'm an animal guy. Like I'm an animal based person. So I need to get my protein in, but I find that sometimes you'll have those, like a bag of frozen chicken breasts. And if you leave it like in the morning, let's say, if you want to like go about the meal prep process, you can literally leave it out for like a few pieces. You can leave it out for a little bit, let it defrost, put it in the oven, handle it. And then you can do it overnight. And then you have it ready to go. You can grab it. Me personally, like I also like I mentioned before, you know, the prepackaged goods. Once you find like the fit option of those prepackaged goods, I
Yeah.
would go after it because they're typically higher in protein. They have like a moderate carbohydrate intake and then probably a lower or moderate fat intake. And the protein's where it's at because it's going to keep you satiated for a long period of time.
Well, perfect. Yeah. I'll when I do go shopping for food, I'll definitely try and take a list that you make or have you on the call with me or something for the first time.
Cool. Cool. What I'm gonna do is I have a couple things that I'm gonna send to you. I have like a bunch of guides that might be very helpful, and then on top of that, I'm gonna put this information in, put in the information we discussed, and what I'm gonna basically send you is like an example of like a nutrition plan you can have.
Okay.
The whole thing about this nutrition plan is like it might give you some recipes. Like if you feel like a recipe type of person, you're like, oh, I'm gonna try this out, you know, whatever. I know some people are not recipe guys. Every once in a while I dabble into, you know, cooking something special, but like it gives you some, you know, some quick examples, and then I'll give you some personal examples myself that have helped me a lot. But just like I would say take your time looking through it, just because, you know, I'm going to be throwing a lot of information at you. So
Okay.
just don't like, just if you have questions about a certain thing, just ask me. Like I said, we can talk on Facebook Messenger. You can talk to me on a WhatsApp. I can send you a group thing on WhatsApp and you can message me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I know you've watched my YouTube stuff. So I'm going to be adding more to nutrition and like little hacks that you can do that will make some adjustments, and it's like very helpful. For example, I found popcorn seasoning. I hate vegetables. I cannot stand the taste of vegetables. I
Yeah.
throw a bunch of popcorn vegetables and I don't taste that. I taste ranch. Like it's like ranch or butter. Like and it's like a very low calorie like seasoning that it does not like, it will not affect your diet. It's like it's one of those things where it's like if I have to eat vegetables, I'm either gonna mix it in my, you know, barbecue sauce with the chicken and all that stuff, or I'm gonna do the popcorn seasoning thing. And things like that have always worked for me. Like I said, like we live in a world today where food is social, but that does not mean we can't make our best diet and make the best of that. You know,
Yeah.
like there's some times where it's like, dude, I deserve that, you know, burger. I'm gonna eat that burger, or I deserve that big ass steak. I'm gonna eat that
Right.
steak. So if you feel like you're, let's say for example, you feel off one day, just be honest with me. I'm
Okay.
okay with you being like, you can be completely honest, dude. My day is crappy. I'm dealing with this, and this. I'm like stressfully eating. If you need me to kind of hold you accountable in the evening, let's say when the triggers start to come in, I will do my best. It's very hard, regardless if I hold you accountable on that process, it's difficult. But be honest with me about that process if you have difficulty on that nutrition portion of it, because I think it's important to be, you know, if you mention it to me, for example, because I know with like when I emotionally eat, I don't like to tell anybody because I get shameful of it, but I think it's very important to tell people because it brings not only you more awareness, but you start to understand more as to why certain things will trigger you. Like like certain levels, like you'll build a self-awareness where it's like, I emotionally ate because this event happened. And then you'll start to notice that there's like a pattern of like this specific thing that happened that triggers it. And once you figure that out, you're like, okay, I just got to be careful of this little thing. And I know when this thing is coming, I know that like I'm going to be more susceptible, but I just need to find a way to kind of break it or stop it and make it less frequent. So, but we'll go about that process. We'll figure it out as it comes.
Okay, perfect. No worries. I'm excited to get started.
Already grocery shopped yet, or?
I have some stuff in the house, like chicken, steak in the freezer, and there's like a big bag of like mixed vegetables frozen I have in the freezer. So I do have some stuff like that, but for the most part, overall, no, not really.
Okay. When you're ready, we can go about this grocery shopping process. I will send you like a grocery example list that you can look at. And then if you have certain things that you want to add to it, like your own personal foods that you want to add to it, just let me know.
Okay.
With the whole soda thing, do you feel okay with like a
like a Coke Zero or something?
Yeah, something like that.
A Coke Zero is fine. Like it's not a big deal.
I'm all for that. Yeah, do it.
Okay.
So grab that.
So for like the Coke Zero, am I trying to limit it to, like we said, like half a can at mealtime kind of thing, or? or just like whatever, like say, like keep it the same as I'm doing now, but with
You could keep it the same as you're doing right now. The only thing is just monitor how you feel with Coke Zero. I know if I have 2 cans in a row, I feel like crap.
yeah,
That's my personal experience. But if you do something like that, you'll be okay. Like I have my brother loves Coke Zero as well, so I see him with a can on the regular. We have him in our fridge right now, and that's okay. That's okay. Like
okay,
just assess, and then you can slowly, like over time we could slowly like lessen the serving size. Let's say you have like a 2 liter and you use a cup or something like that.
Mhm.
You can probably, or you use 2 cups for example, you can probably bring it down to a cup and a half, and then we can bring it down to a cup, and then it can be there. Like it's like you don't have to take it out, you don't have to restrict it completely. So
okay. All right, cool, Tony. I appreciate it. Then I'll hit you up later about everything for grocery and whatnot.
yes, and then I will send you messages, just some more depth stuff after I get all this stuff down, and then I'll send you the couple things I wanted to send you, and then when you're ready to grocery shop, like I said, just let me know. I'll guide you through the process too.
Okay, perfect, sir. I appreciate it.
No problem. Good call. Good call.
All right,
Always
good
good to
call.
see you.
All right, take care, man. Thank you.
No problem. Take care.
Bye.